This was a very good pod. Did you have anything else?
Just the bear thing.
The bear?
I got an attack. A bear
Yeah,
attack.
you got another animal attack.
Yeah.
This is when pets attack. Or no, we should call it Pat's attack.
This is a doozy, my friend. Like I said, this might be. So this is because it is Animal Attacks Month. I wanted to give proper due diligence to one of my favorites, and can I be honest with you?
Be honest with me.
Probably one of the animal attacks I identify with the most of the victims.
Wait, what?
So like, I'm no Siegfried and Roy. I always loved whales. So like, if there's a whale attack, obviously, we talked about some of my favorites last week, but my favorite is Timothy Treadwell. Are you familiar with Timothy Treadwell?
I think I am. Why is that name familiar?
Well, he's also affectionately known as the Grizzly Man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Grizzly Man. Yeah.
Yeah. You familiar with this guy now?
I've watched, I forget if I watched the doc or just listened to people. I know a lot about Grizzly Man. I just forget why.
There was a television show for a short time. They took some of his footage and made a series, I believe.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, no, I just heard. I think I heard like Rogan talking about it because I tried watching the doc and I just didn't like it.
There's also a wonderful documentary by Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
That goes into very, I don't know how to put it, very awkward detail. Because like everybody that he finishes they'll finish their sentence, they'll be like, yeah, and then they took him and then they put him over there and then that was it. Next scene. It's like what? And there's no music, there's no anything. It's just
just the editing.
But it is a very good documentary. It goes into a lot of the detail. But he was born in 1957 in April. He grew up on Long Island it's a nice family. Seems like the dad had some. You know how dad tone. He's that kind of thing of like got an agent. Yeah, changed his name. It's still a family name. I think essentially saying everything, but just go out there doing that queer shit. You know what I mean? Like the mom, really loved him, but a really loving family. 4 brothers, or there's 4 kids all together. He even had a pet squirrel growing up named Willie.
Pet squirrel.
Yeah, he was a big fan of animals, even from a young kid.
Interesting move.
Yeah, he was also an environmentalist and a bear enthusiast who spent 13 summers living among grizzly bears in Alaska's Katmai National Park. Also, he died on October 5th in 2003. Guess where?
Inside that bear.
Yeah. Near the end, yeah.
That's because I heard Rogan talking about this recently, and he made a really funny point where he was like, or no, wait. Maybe that was you. I confused you and Rogan. Did you say the thing?
We are very similar body type wise.
No, I got it mixed up because Rogan brought up Grizzly Man surprisingly recently. But
oh wow.
Or were you saying it where you were like the thing about these you were talking about Siegfried and Roy's tiger.
Yeah.
Where like these animals, it's not like they train them not to attack. You just get lucky for a while.
13 years.
And then after a certain point, they decide you're food.
Right. This is like it comes down to where it's if their reaction is like, even in some cases, like with like some of the apes that are kept for a long time. Apes live a miraculously a long time too. Like as a pet, you can't have a pet necessarily, and they can also suffer from dementia, paranoia, get like regular people disorders.
I realized that when our vet gave us like medication when we still had Slim.
Yeah,
she gave us like medication for. Actually, no, we're doing it with Sophie right now because she's a fucking spaz. She got anxiety medication.
Yeah,
but it was like with Slim where you realize you're like, oh yeah, like animals can have problems exactly like humans.
Think about if Sophie was the size of was 160 pounds, you would be done. Like if she spazzed out, like one of those things, like she could absolutely kill you.
Yeah.
So like that's the idea. It's the same idea of a bear or a animal, whale, or anything like that. They can be emotional and dynamic creatures as well.
Aren't bears like obscenely heavy though?
They can be, yeah, for sure. So this is a fun fact about him. Early, he tried. I was talking about this with his dad. He tries to become an actor, entertainer, and after changing his name to Treadwell, he gets he gets he gets an agent, and allegedly came in second for the role of Woody on the show Cheers, losing apparently it to Woody Harrelson. So I don't know.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently he was supposed to get the how his dad affectionately puts it, the bartender job on the show.
Dude, that's crazy.
He was supposed to be. That's according to him. We don't know for sure if that was true or not. But
by the way, I just looked it up. A lot of bears will average around 300 to 400 pounds, but some can get past 1,000.
Grizzlies get big. They can get. But this is so like he's a huge advocate for animals even at a young age.
Yeah.
But always has like some kind of inkling of like wanting to be an entertainer. I think there is a time in the early 2000s where like where like reality TV starts taking off and shit like that, and then everybody kind of like YouTube isn't there yet necessarily, so they don't have that outlet or that like structure that people have nowadays. But I think there's a person. Have you ever heard, I can't remember his name, but the guy.
Sorry to cut you off. That's a really interesting point where there's a lot of people who would probably go out into the world and do much more insane shit if they weren't able to just have a YouTube channel to update every week. Like
the footage he's getting over these 13 seasons, and I don't know how many of these he's actually recorded. They don't specify that. I didn't see how many, but I'm assuming all of them.
Yeah.
Because he's documenting his time out there. He's doing he's doing like Survival Man before Survival Man. He's like setting up the camera, getting a shot. He's doing it correctly as far as production wise, and really, if you think about it, and this is why I'm like, this was the first thing I kind of related to him was like, you're doing it, buddy. Like you were doing it, because if you look at since his death, now you got to think probably one of the most compelling things that's happened in his life, and maybe only reason why a lot of us know his name is because, spoiler alert, he did get eaten by bears.
He got by the bear.
But by one particular bear. Oh, I got bear names for you, too. Just a handful of names that he gave some of these loving little boys and girls. He got, I believe, allegedly ate up by Mr. Grinch was his name.
Mr. Grinch?
Yeah.
What?
That's what he called the bear. That actually ate him. Not while he was eating him. So like the way he was doing it, like he was shooting footage that could have been used for a show, and then obviously also could have been used for a documentary film as well.
Yeah.
And this is all what I say I'm like on his side, and that he was actually succeeding is since his death, they have successfully made a show out of this footage, as well as the movie Grizzly Man is a lot of his stock footage. So he had a near fatal overdose not long after not getting the role of Woody, losing that to Woody. That's why I keep saying that, because I don't know if he was up for a part on Cheers, but like,
well, it's like
why wouldn't they hire the guy named Woody for Woody? Why did they name him Woody unless they had him in mind? Unless his name wasn't Woody.
Well, there are things like a slight correlation or a slight thing I can relate to this. We're watching the Pamela Anderson documentary that came out.
Very nice, Pamela Anderson.
Yes. I mean, she was
very lovely. Pamela.
She was like my top lady. When
I was
younger.
Yes, Pamela. Yes, Pamela. Pamela.
But there's a part where Pamela Anderson, I forget if she says it directly or kind of like basically heavily implies it, but she kind of says like, yeah, that whole them blowing up the sex tape to what it was. No one took me seriously, and that's why I didn't have a serious acting career afterwards. And I go, or it was because you weren't great at it.
Yeah. You were also given a movie, like a whole, like, yeah, you're not in the editing process and all this other stuff, but like, you can't blame it on, like, at some point, it's not everyone else's fault. It could be you.
Well, and also too, like, people, I get this, by the way. Because I was actually thinking about this because I'm listening to this audio book about like COVID, and it's really interesting. It's by this dude Tom Woods, and it's Diarrhea Psychosis, and it's actually like day by day he would do these daily emails on his email list where he would just kind of be like, this is what's going on with COVID, and actually gives you like a timeline of everything going on at the time. And it's like I'm listening to that, and it's like reminding me about how it was in COVID. And there was like a moment, there was like a time period where you're like, you know, when everything was shut down and every time you turn on the news, they're like, you have to be scared of this virus. You're like, is this just what it's going to be like? Yeah. You have this moment where you're like, is this never going to end? Is it just going to... So I get it. Like in the moment, you're like, you could be like Pamela Anderson. You're like, well, this is just who I am all the time. But then it just gets to a point where it kind of like dies down. Yeah. And like Pamela, you've had a lot of opportunities to get back into acting. Yeah. To really show us what you had.
Yeah. And like also, we also got to know your personality too. You did a lot of shows and a lot of like reality things and like all the like interviews and things like that where we're like, yeah, we're good. We got it. Nice tits. Great tits.
Great tits.
But see ya. So he had a near fatal overdose, and he was also having issues with his with wild mood shifts. And he was prescribed antidepressants that he I think in a lot of cases with antidepressants it takes a while, but apparently he didn't like the person he was on them, and it wasn't a good combination, so he ended up not taking them, and ended up kind of like going into. So this is one of the things was obviously he wasn't the most stable person.
Yeah.
If you watch a lot of footage of Timothy Treadwell, and this is something that even Rogan, treads a little bit himself, maybe a gay guy. Could have been a gay guy. Like, he seems pretty flamboyant in his voice. He's got gay guy voice in a way. He's got a weird haircut a lot of times.
I gotta tell you this. I saw a dude yesterday who was so gay, it made these two people behind him act like they looked like people overacting in a commercial. Because he was like, he walked by. Because he was like the type of dude who has like the perfect eyebrows.
Yeah, yeah.
And is like noticeably wearing like lip gloss and shit.
Yeah.
And then there was just like...
Puts his lip on out like this.
Yeah, there was this... And he was like, had like his walk and everything. Yeah. And there's this couple behind him that were just like... As he walked by, I saw his couple. The lady literally just sees him walk by and goes like...
Yeah. What is that?
What the hell is this? I was like, dude, that's how gay you are.
Dude, it's so crazy. We're watching this season, the most recent season of, I think it's like 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And like watching the show, I love it. It's the most male-dominated television show on earth, and it's great. And all the males are in charge, and they're all center stage. It's perfect. But there's always like one that I'm like, there's one this season that is so fucking gross that I'm like, I'm saying this. I have favorites. There's Anya. Her name is Anya Nerves.
Oh, I know their name,
bro. Yeah. I love that.
Or I don't know their names, but they're like, their names are so funny. There was one called just like Alaska Thunderfuck.
Thunderfuck, yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, it's perfect. So like, I'm a fan of drag queens. I don't give a shit. I'm not a weirdo that doesn't want them to read anybody. I can't read, so I need somebody to read to me. But this one is, I'm like, every time this person comes out, I'm like, ew. That one is just, it makes me uncomfortable to look at this person.
Yeah.
It's so weird that I'm like, but you're right. There's a line. There's a line where you're like, man, I don't like this. Like, I want that person eliminated.
Well, you brought up the fucking...
Because I know there's a dark side of it.
You brought up the story. I would think there was like... I saw a video of one drag queen who's like got all the makeup and looks like a lady and then just has a giant beard. And like is wearing... And they're like, you don't want me to read the kids? I go, honestly, dude, no. Like, don't take this the wrong way, but absolutely not. You look insane.
So Timothy ends up becoming pretty familiar and loving and a self-made advocate of the Bears. He travels the Bears, not just Chicago, but he would go. So he filmed all of his interactions with the Bears to raise awareness of issues that face North America. I guess there was not enough gay guys to eat in Alaska, so so he wanted to raise awareness. He also founded Grizzly People, a bear protection organization, with his friend Jewel Palovuk. Palovuk is also the person who is in what's it called when they have in possession of the tape, the camera actually, and the audio.
Oh yeah, of the murder.
Of the apparent. This is a crazy fact. Minutes long attack. Like not. It wasn't like. It was. It was a thing. Lens cap on. By the way, professional in every other way except for that. Tim, you missed the shot, bro. We're gonna need to take 2. So,
Tim, we're gonna need you to die again.
Yeah, can we take that from the top?
Take that from the top.
Somebody clear the blood off the bear.
hey, where's his arm? Spit it out, bear.
Spit it out. Oh, by the way, one of the craziest scenes in the documentary, I feel, is somebody that very insensitively, and he brings it up on camera. This is what I'm talking about, the awkwardness of the thing.
Yeah.
Is like the guys, obviously, they're like, hey, why don't you, he wants to bring the watch that was on Timothy's wrist when it was found at the scene, and he wants to give it to her. So he's like, oh, yeah, we'll do it on camera. We'll do it. And then, like, he's like, oh, sorry, it's still in the evidence bag. He takes it out and gives it to her. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like, you couldn't also, Werner, you couldn't cut that out. But he's just like, these are the people, and this is how they act.
Yeah, there are.
He narrates it, and it's very German.
Dude, I gotta be honest. There's some times where I go, like, you think you want to know everything, and then like
it's dark.
I'm trying to remember the last time I thought about this when I was watching a thing, but like, you see, there's this doc on. It's really good. It's on HBO. I forget what the fuck it's called, but it's about those like family bloggers or the vloggers where they just record their family all day.
Yeah.
And then like it's about this one lady, she adopts a Chinese baby, like flies over to China to get it. It was China. China turns it into like a whole thing. It starts getting her like way more subscribers, and then she brings the baby back, and she like for like a year or two, she's got maybe like 3 or because the kid gets to a point where he can like he's got autism. And they're doing a lot of good work, and he can start talking, and he can walk himself. So whatever that is, 2 or 3.
China called her, and they were like, "We want our baby back, baby back, baby back." China, babies back here. Give our Chinese babies back. Szechuan sauce.
I really appreciate how little sense any of that made. That was so funny.
She brought her baby back to China.
So then, the baby's there. Like they have the kid for a year or 2 or 3. I can't remember. And then after
plenty of time to have a Chinese baby.
After a certain point,
time's up.
After a certain point, the baby just stops. The kid just stops showing up in the vlogs. And they'll be like, and the whole this is why HBO annoys me when they don't put the whole thing out.
Yeah.
And this is why they do it. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck?
What happened to the Chinese baby?
What happened to the Chinese baby? But no, so like, there's all this shit where, like, there's a part where she's having these very real moments of being like, I didn't realize it was going to be so hard to have an autistic Chinese baby.
Oh, yeah.
And she's kind of like politely shitting on the kid because he's not behaving well. And you're like, hey, man, I actually think you're telling me too much.
Yeah.
You don't have to share every fucking inner emotion. That's how all these YouTubers get caught with these really awkward clips where they basically go like, what if I shared every intrusive thought? It's like, no, you're supposed to have those that go, that's insane. I'll never bring that to press.
Yeah, don't give them the edit. You're giving them the edit to where they can flash back to this part where you're saying you would never do this, idiot.
Yeah. I don't know. Just sometimes that happened. I didn't watch it, but I heard someone mention this. That apparently happened in that Anthony Weiner documentary where the his life was crumbling because he couldn't stop sending pictures of his dick and shit.
Yeah.
And the documentary people were just like, hey, man, why are you still letting us film this?
So even though Treadwell wanted to document all of this stuff and to raise awareness about grizzlies and stuff like that in North America, here's some grizzly bear statistics. On average, there are about 2 to 3 fatal grizzly bear attacks per year in North America. That's the real America, and then Canada America. So like that's not a lot, right?
Wait, what was the number?
2 to 3 fatal grizzly bears attacks a year.
There are times where you do hear statistics and you go, "Oh, this actually isn't a problem."
What are you raising? Yeah. So so non-fatal bear attacks are more common, with an average of 30 to 40 reported annually. And also, what about all the dead people that aren't reported as bear attacks? I'm just saying. So it's like closer to like 5. The vast majority of bear encounters do not result in attacks, and this is as of my birthday last year in 2024. So August 29th, 2024, they were like, there was not even that many attacks. Now, did he help that statistic? Has that gone down since 2003 when he passed away? Allegedly. So this is a fun thing. He'd have to hide from the authorities while camping. He'd go there from the summer to the fall. He'd be brought there by an air taxi. Like he'd pay, like kind of pay him, like pay some fucking weird, like, you know how there's like Alaska rednecks.
He was in Alaska, you said. Yeah. Well, no, that just happens when you go to more remote places. You just have to like. You don't get a plane ticket. You just hire a guy.
And this is already a bear sanctuary, but he felt a personal responsibility to the animals that to go there and help protect them, and just kind of took this weird white knight kind of approach to it of like, I'll help the bears.
I gotta be. You know what I'm realizing as you're telling me this?
What's that?
I'm gay. No, 4 bears.
Yeah.
No, I'm realizing it can be. I think a lot of people try to sort of observe their life in they try to add like a narrative sort of thing to it.
He wanted it to, he wanted to be the bear guy.
Yeah, and I go, maybe that's not the best thing to do every time, because a lot of times too, you'll decide the end, and you'll figure out the middle, and then sometimes the middle makes you.
This is a
live
theme.
in a tent by bears and get eaten alive.
But this is the theme that you were talking about. There's a level of like you go there, you get this footage with bears, like and a lot of it is like it's him tempting fate. This is like Siegfried and Roy were probably amazing illusionists, like magician wise. I don't know the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts of fucking rabbits and shit of magic, but I do know that they are some lucky motherfuckers.
Just you looking at a rabbit.
I don't know.
Don't fucking how they get that in the hat.
How the fuck this works?
Yeah, fucking rabbit.
But like, this is the same thing where it's like you're just going there.
Oh, what? You think I'm like a rabbit technician?
You think
I
know
know how
that?
this goddamn thing works.
Rabbits broke. You think you'd be more lucky? You got those two feet on them.
Hey, call the rabbit guy. It's on the fritz.
Hey, there's a reason they use the front feet for the luck. You know what I'm saying? It ain't all lucky, but there's like an element to this guy where he's just lucky for years. He's getting great footage of like this big, massive bear in its habitat. He's getting these interactions between the bears. He's noticing patterns. He's giving them names. Do you want to hear some of the names?
I'd love to.
Some of the names: Mr. Chocolate.
Sweet.
There is the aforementioned earlier. I don't know if you remember him, Mr. Grinch. And there is, he's a little older. He's a guy.
How are you this like? You're this insane, but then like you name them like a fucking like you have Disney adult energy when it comes to naming bears.
Sergeant Brown.
I'm glad this guy died.
You say Disney. He named one of them Mickey. There's a scene where Mickey and Donnie are fighting over Saturn. She's the queen of Grizzly Sanctuary, or as also known by Mr. Tim over there, the Michelle Pfeiffer of bears.
Oh fuck, dude.
There's Aunt Melissa. Do you want to know some of the foxes that he got to know? Timmy, there's Spirit. Spirit stole his hat, and it was really important to him, and he got really bummed out, and he reprimanded Spirit. He said, "Spirit, it better not be in the den. It better not. That hat is very important to this trip." There is Banjo. And also, he is a very, you see the ups and downs of this gentleman's personality when he witnesses nature. There is a scene where he's talking about these two bears fighting because they're wild fucking animals.
Yeah.
And he's just going like, "Oh, say, good job, Downey. You did a good job. I thought I was really scared for you there when you got. I was really scary." And then he shows the whole thing, and he's just talking about it. But then he starts coming across like bear carcasses, like baby bears. Adult bears will kill the baby bear if they come up to a lady bear that they want to fuck, just so that they'll stop lactating, so that they'll be ready to mate sooner. So they will kill a baby bear. And when he comes across this thing, all of a sudden he doesn't really get nature anymore. This is why I don't think his true intention was for bear conservation, bear awareness, or any of that.
Knock it off.
Because he comes across this bear paw, very emotional, he's very tearful, cries. He comes across a dead fox. Oh, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And losing it, filming it, losing it to this. So, like, I think he's just an unstable guy that loves animals, and that's where I see the most of myself in this guy. Maybe if I was around at that time, maybe we could have dated. But I'll have you know, Andy, he brought multiple women to this bear sanctuary with him over the years. A lot of the footage that he created was him, like actually, like, visualize, like he would not have them in cuts specifically so he could, like, boast about being out there alone. He would go out there alone, but a lot of times he would bring company.
Wait, he would, like, bring pussy to the...
Bring women. Why? Just so you can ignore them?
Well, no, I think he would be down being gay with you, because if you were gay...
I'm a bear.
You're a bear.
So Amy Huguenard was spent the last 2 summers with him, and a handful of other women that would they did not, and also the family of Amy as well as the other women did not want to be included in the documentary.
Yeah, you just show a fucking...
In fact, Amy was terrified of bears.
Dude, show an incel this documentary and just let them know, like, dog, it's your fault you're not getting pussy.
Dude, this guy,
the gay bear guy, got pussy.
Spend the most dangerous time around bears in the bear fucking... It's called the bear maze or the grizzly maze. There's like these pathways of this, like, this really super wooded area where these bears during mating season, during like they're trying to fatten up on fish and shit like that.
Yeah.
If there's a drought, they get super... If they're not well fed, if there's not salmon running, that is like a fucking land. That's like going out to a minefield. Like, it's crazy that this guy made 13 summers here, and he would go in the summer and get picked up in the fall, right as it was starting to get fucking crazy.
Really?
So,
and he made that shit
13
times?
13 summers, yeah. Amy and Timothy's remains.
Wait, did he get killed on the 13th or the 14th?
So this is what I don't understand. They say that October 5th, 2003 was the day he died. I don't know. And this would be the craziest fact. So actually, they probably would know because of the footage.
He's doing this in the 90s?
Yeah.
Well, it's pre 9/11 world.
That's what I was saying, dude. I also thought about that. I want to see the footage of his first summer there after, like, because if he went out there summer, he missed 9/11. Oh yeah. He didn't know until he came back. So, like, I want to. Yeah. Summer starts in August.
When does he come back?
Fall.
Oh, Alaska summer.
So you're right, yeah. So actually, you're right. I don't know what it didn't actually. I didn't see the date, like the months or whatever. But they would say he would go out in the summer and then he would get picked up in the fall. So it was essentially just one season, spring, summer.
Yeah, he might have missed 9/11.
He might have missed. He may have forgotten. He may be the only person in the world that could have lived without actually, like, remembering it, like, firsthand.
Yeah, and
he would have remembered.
No.
He would have remembered, like, oh yeah, I'll never forget October 4th. Do you know what I mean? Like, he gets a weird date that none of us got. I mean, not that year.
I think I heard a comic make a joke about that, but that would be fascinated to be like, whatever it is, because, like, with doing, like, I've been doing the big red in the morning shit.
Yeah,
it's been making me. I mean,
that's your first drop.
It's not a part of it, but it makes sense. It's not official, but it makes complete sense.
Let me get one clean. Go ahead and cut that up.
You sound like a sleepy guy getting fingered.
That's
Stop fingering me. No, I think a comedian did a joke about this, but there is someone who is the last person to know about 9/11.
Yeah.
And that's what I was relating it to, a Big Red in the Morning. I'm so like on top of shit. Like I miss a lot of stuff, but I'm like every day I'm like, what's the fucking thing that happened today? It's crazy to think like, oh yeah, what if you just found out about 9/11? Like that. Well, that's one of the most famous stories from World War II. I forget how long it was, but there was a guy who was like stationed at his area.
Yeah.
And because he never got ordered in Japan.
Oh yeah. He was the last guy. Yeah.
And bro, I want to say it was like a decade. It was like, I don't know if it was like a whole decade.
Just hating America.
It was like
just hating America. Didn't even know about the bomb, but still hating America with that same fury. Crazy.
It was like an insane amount of time he was still there being like, World War II's happening. I haven't gotten orders yet. He's
like, once Hitler finishes this thing off, we're going to be so good.
I'm so curious what that's like. What is it like having someone come up to you and very clearly make you realize the past so many years you actually had the complete wrong interpretation.
You could have gone to the bathroom without a fucking helmet on.
Well, it would be like a thing where it was like
an annoying thing that you had to do every day because it was military protocol. You'd be like, I didn't have to fucking do that.
Well, no, imagine imagine if like COVID was 20 times worse than it actually was, and we actually had to be in like hazmat suits.
Yeah.
Imagine if a guy like legitimately thought that. And then he was just living in a hazmat suit away from everyone else. And then like 5 years later, he like stumbles upon a news report or whatever. And he's like, wait, I could have stopped doing this fucking 3 years ago?
You guys been going to
2 years ago?
You guys been going to McDonald's this whole time?
That's like the bitch of Juneteenth.
Yeah.
Juneteenth are like the last freed slaves. And it's like, there were slaves that were like, wait, I've been a slave for like 2 years and I didn't have to be?
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell, dude? Hey, man, I know we've had differences. Yeah. You're kind of a big dick.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Could you give me... just this one thing. That's all. That's the only thing.
Was there anything else with the bear? I didn't want to...
So, no. The next day... So, October 6th... See, this is the bummer. If it really did happen on October 5th, the guy was coming October 6th. The plane. So the guy...
Oh, they like think it happened the day before?
So this is why I think they know. This is how I think they know. Because at first I was like, how do they know? First of all, they can probably tell by decomposition or digestion.
Actually, wait, you said his death got recorded?
Yeah.
They can check the metadata.
That's what I just said. Yeah, that's what I was getting. Like, that's how I got to a point where I'm like, oh, so that makes it so much worse that they were like a day away from leaving that place, right? So it was the next day, October 6th. Willie Fulton was he's a Kodiak air taxi pilot. He arrived at the Treadwell and Huguenard's campsite to pick them up, but found the area abandoned. So like how he explains it is he gets off the plane and he kind of walks up the trail a little bit. And like as he's like kind of going like, hello, he didn't hear anything. And then he was like, this is not normal. Like, this is where we meet.
Yeah.
Like, this is the day we're supposed to meet. I'm saying, hey, what's going on? And like nobody's like, I'm on my way. Oh, like nothing. Like he doesn't see like shit piled up, ready to get loaded up or anything. He's just like, what the fuck's happening? So he starts.
No one got killed by a bear, please respond.
The bear's just going, nothing.
I'm an alive guy.
He has his hat on. He's doing this. Come back here.
He's just wearing a tiny shirt.
Is that Timothy?
There's just a bear Robert De Niro like in Goodfellas. Like
a Timothy in a bear suit. Yeah, he's just going, no, go over there. Into the bear maze. But he walks up this path, doesn't see them anywhere, and this bear, he on his way back, he notices this bear was kind of stalking him. So he freaks out, runs back to his plane. As he's running back, he kind of stumbles across the rib cage.
Oof.
Some of the body parts.
Oh my God.
Some of the remains at the campsite. I looked, could not find them, and this is probably for the best. Crime scene photos or anything like that.
That just reminded me. I was talking to Steph the other day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I forget what. We were watching a thing where someone came home and they found their loved one, like, had shot themselves. Or I was talking about suicide. I was like, imagine that. I was like, imagine you came home. And I was like, have you ever thought about that? Like, coming home and I just, like, blew my head off. And she was like, no, I don't think about that. And I go, I think about stuff like that all the time.
Obviously not seeing it, but being it. No, there's a level of like kind of like the guy, even like talking about it. He's very like plain in his way. Like they're Alaska rednecks. Again, these are like people that are living in crazy harsh environments that have no time for nonsense.
Yeah.
So like this guy is like,
who's
daylight for an hour. Who's that fucking dickhead out there with the bears? But he's so he went up, found the area, except for a bear. He found the bear, and also contacted the local park rangers. Then the couple's mangled remains were discovered quickly upon investigation.
Oh, he had some sniz there.
Yeah,
damn.
It was Amy. Amy was there. So there is now.
She had her friends being like, "Don't go see him. You're gonna get eaten by a bear."
Bro, she was terrified of bears.
Yeah.
Like that's the craziest thing that she went up there. It's nuts. These are, and this is why I don't feel I'm not as angry at him as like I would be at like the lady with the chimp or the lady with the guys with the two lady boys with the tiger, or the Shamu guy.
He went to their house.
Yeah. Well, also like those people, like you're doing something irresponsible. This guy is doing something irresponsible. But, like, you're obviously a broken person, and you did it 12 times. Why wouldn't you believe that it's working? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, at 12 times.
By the third
after
visit,
3, you're like, maybe he's a bear whisperer. You know what I mean? Like
after 3, he's like, I can do this.
It's going to be hard with an unmedicated brain and this reassurance of, I haven't died 12 times. Come on, baby. Come on. And then her one time going like, I'm terrified of bears, but this guy who's gone 12 times and me once now, I got to, you trust him. Now, there is in the documentary.
He dies the 13th time. The bears you find out the bear's heavily superstitious. You're
Yeah.
like, can't let him get to 13.
Amy and Timothy's remains were found near the Grizzly Maze, the most dangerous area, according to Timothy himself.
They were found 69.
With the camera, which was rolling at the time of the attack, where you can hear Amy screaming at and beating the bear with a frying pan as it is eating Timothy for 6 minutes.
Why would you attack the bear?
Why would you stay there? There's multiple times, and now this is the crazy part, right? There is a part in the documentary where Werner Herzog is listening to the tape. The lady has the camera.
Yeah,
and
I think I saw that video.
And
where he's like, "You guys don't get to hear this."
And you could never release this. Now, I heard 2 different, and they're like, it's like a 3-minute version of what is believed to be it. Now, the reason it's skeptical is because in the video, it sounds like what is explained by Werner Herzog in the documentary.
Yeah,
him saying like you can hear moaning, which I think is the bear, but he's thinking it could possibly be Timothy. I don't think it's Timothy because you can hear Timothy's voice very clearly.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd moan when you got attacked by a bear.
But like
it's
like growl. You can hear growling. You can hear the wind. You can hear her screaming her fucking head off.
Yeah.
And him telling her to run away.
Yeah.
Search it if you like. Tell me if you think it's legitimate. I don't know. From what I heard, there's a 6-minute. It's a 6-minute ordeal.
Damn.
So a fun little fact that I heard about most bears is what they do is they start eating you by your anus. They eat your ass first, which he probably liked for a second.
Here's the new game show: real bear or gay guy?
Mr. Grinch.
Pat, describe it, and we'll guess if it's a real bear or a gay guy.
But
it starts with your ass. Ooh, starting off with a hard one.
I think what they say is like the organs and stuff are like the sweetest meat. Oh my God. So like the inside, so they go with that stuff first, and then they start working with the.
Sorry, that's not as funny as I.
It's crazy.
I was still on like gay guys eating ass.
They show this. They show it crazy, like how their remains were brought back to the coroner.
Bone?
It is. There's a plastic, not a plastic, but like a a metal big. It almost looks like a giant like instrument case that you would see. Like looks like that. Like or like a what's it called? A coffin, like a metal coffin. And they said he just opened the thing up and he goes. And he's like, and her remains were in a bag here, and his remains were in a bag here. And it's like part of the remains that I believe were found were obviously an arm with part of the wrist with the watch on it, which the lady is wearing. That's the craziest thing to me. Is they took that off of a hand that was somewhere, either in the bear or somewhere in the campsite. There was his head, I believe, still attached to the spinal column. Found there, a rib cage, as well as parts.
Bring a gun?
No. No, he's in front. It's Sergeant Brown and Aunt Melissa.
And Dr. Grinch.
Yeah, what are you talking about? He's just got to worry about that fucking banjo. But, so, this is the official coroner's. This is what I'll leave you guys on, just so you have nightmares. Death circumstances I got actually 2 pieces real quick. So, the death circumstances by the coroner. Officially, Treadwell chose, this is my favorite part, every local interviewed. I'll play a local's description of the gentleman after the coroner's description. Treadwell chose to set his campsite near a salmon stream where grizzlies commonly feed in autumn. Treadwell was in the park later in the year than usual, which is true. He did spend more time there that year, and this year apparently was a little bit longer of a season, a little bit less food, so the grizzlies were a little bit more desperate. And in every case of an attack, it's usually a bear that is underfed or undernourished. At the time when the bears struggled to gain weight as much fat as possible before the winter, and limited food supplies caused them to be more aggressive than in other months. Food was scarce that fall, causing the grizzly bears to be even more aggressive than usual. And then like he has like a map kind of brought up and everything. I couldn't find the remains or anything like that, but I did love this little clip, and I wanted to play this for you. This was a local here. This is I'll just let him speak for himself. How about that? Let me just turn the volume up here and play this for you.
He was asking for, he got what he deserved, in my opinion. The tragedy of it was taking the girl with him. I think the only reason that Treadwell lasted as long in the game as he did was that the bears probably thought there was something wrong with him, like he was mentally retarded or something. He was asking for it.
What? The bears thought he was retarded?
The bears must have thought something was wrong with him.
He thinks the bears pitied him?
In that clip, he... Like, I tried to get it to... It doesn't play well unless you're actually... That's in the movie. Is his he kind of goes off on this guy.
Who was that guy again?
He was... Hold on. I don't know if it actually says in the clip. But he was like a person... He's like part of the official... I think... Like, he's part of like the search and rescue team, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Which is hilarious. But that's what he said. Like, every year that guy went up there, we all thought he was fucking crazy because he thought he could talk to the bears and he could do all this other stuff. And... obviously talk shit about that guy every year he would come through town. They knew about him. They knew who he was. They knew the guy.
Dude,
but they were like, that guy was such a menace, and you know what? He got what he fucking deserved. But he said, I thought the Bears, and I honestly feel like I don't think he thought that. I think that guy just wanted to be like, he wanted to call that guy a retard because after he said that, he goes, and it looks like he's trying not to go.
Oh, he kind of giggles a little bit.
He like kind of goes like, I think he was fucking retarded.
Well, I think animals can, to a degree. I think you were telling me this, where it's like cats obviously don't know what you're saying. Cats and dogs don't know what you're saying, but they can identify your tone.
Yeah.
I wonder if they can be like, can you imagine they were like bear meetings where they were like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat him.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, he's a gay retard.
Like he comes
him.
there every season. Like, just don't do that.
He's nice.
They're gonna kill you.
In his
if they do it, they're gonna kill you.
In his defense, he gives good back rubs. So.
Yeah. Did you see him? When what was it? God damn it! I can't remember their name now. Banjo was trying to fuck Saturn.
Yeah, Banjo, Kazooie, Crash Bandicoot.
No, it was Downey versus Mickey. They were trying to. They were trying to fuck each other up so they could have the right to fuck Saturn. The Michelle Pfeiffer of bears.
Stop fighting.
So yeah, I think overall the guy was identifiable in the way of the gay thoughts and urges. No, he was a thing where like I think he was just somebody who was just a broken person who really did mean well, was trying for a win-win, but ultimately, like this was he was lucky for 12 years in a row. He was absolutely lucky, and I think in retrospect, after all of this stuff, he absolutely accomplished what he wanted to do. He just happened to die before he got to see it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think sounds pretty on point because you were talking about that, and it does seem like much more of the reality of these situations where it's just like, dude, I think you're just lucky these animals weren't hungry.
It's literally, that's all. And even in his things, like he was careful of the bear. He knew all that other shit. Like, he was doing all that shit, but he was like talking to them, and he's having these full conversations where he is having these therapy sessions with these foxes, and he's just like, and I just said I just got to get out of here, and I got to go, I can't do this anymore. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? And he's like, hey, where are you going with my hat? That's a very important hat to this.
Where are you going with my hat?
It better not. Like, at first it's like really cute, and the fox is like rolling around, and he like walks away with it. And he's, God damn it.
What are you doing with my hat? God damn it, Fox.
So I highly suggest you check out the Grizzly Man. Also, Google the footage. It's about most of the videos I saw is about 2 minutes and 42 seconds of the attack. I will say there's two different versions I heard, and both of them they were both the same, is what I'm saying. It's like there's two different video sources I saw.
The extended cut and the short version.
Well, each of them were about 3 minutes. Yeah. So like
sounds like it's
I think there may be about 3 minutes of audio out there, or that could be a hoax. I'm not so gullible that I'll believe it, but whoever was doing it made it seem pretty. There was like wind, like you could hear, like how that, like when you have like a camcorder outside and you hear like like that. It's like that, a lot of that with like crazy screaming and lots of bear noises. That if it is a fake, at least on 2 listens, is pretty convincing. So my doff my Eagles cap to you, sir, or madam, whatever troll you may choose.
There could be ladies who fake bear videos.
But this is one of 4 wonderful animal attack series that we're doing. If you have another one that you want to suggest me to research, I'd be happy to. But I got my 4 picked, and this one I wanted to start off with a big gay bang.
We'll have to cut. I didn't know this was gonna.
This is a 2-parter.
I didn't know this was. Yeah, we're gonna have to cut this episode up.
We got a 2-parter.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
Pat,
we don't have to meet tomorrow or next week. We don't even have to talk to each other next week now.
Right. You were way too excited about that.
Fuck yes! I don't have to see your ass for a whole week.
Wait.
But I get to see you guys. Huh? What?
Huh? What the hell?
We can only exist over text message and emails now.
Who email?
I mean, we can Zoom if you want. Maybe we can Discord, but I don't want to look at you.
Will you at least play Fortnite with me?
No! Server's down.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. We won't see each other next week.
I will not see this guy, and it's going to be great.
Have a great day.